So I'd just like to start off by introducing myself. My name's Gabby, and I feel so lucky. Oh gosh. Oh Jesus. I feel so lucky to have been asked to be Anna's maid of honour today. Oh, you're gonna get through it. Oh. When I first met Anna was, of course, courtside at a basketball game. We were somewhat forced together by James and Mark, and I think it was probably the most pressure I've ever felt on a relationship.
Oh, you look so pretty. I love this scene.
But here we are today, so we obviously did something right. At the first meeting, I sat down next to Anna, and one of the first things she ever said to me was, I can't catch anything, so if a ball comes towards me, I need you to catch it, otherwise it will just hit me in the face. Which didn't help with the pressure at all. Luckily, I never actually had to step up and save Anna's face, but I took my bodyguard role very seriously at every game we sat together, and I'd like to at least take some of the credit to how amazing she looks today. It also made me a bit nervous when James signed at Gran Canaria, because who was now going to guard Anna's face? I can't tell you how proud I am of Anna making it through 2 basketball seasons without any injuries. Not even James managed that. Our first couples trip together occurred quite early on after meeting each other, and it started with James coming into the lodge telling me Anna was in tears and she'd managed to puncture the outside body of James's car and she needed me to go outside. To this day, it seems a bit odd that in a need of someone to comfort her, she'd sent in her longtime boyfriend inside to get me, who she still didn't know very well. I assumed it was because James had cracked a joke to try and lighten the mood and it hadn't gone down well, so it was the next best option. But looking back at it, it seems like an important step for me and Anna as friends. Everyone is allowed one weakness, and I suppose I'm glad that Anna's is her fear of parking. Otherwise, who knows how our friendship would have turned out. That was just the beginning of our friendship. Since then, Anna...
Watching you two are like my little angel and devil on my shoulder. Yeah, which is which?
Anna has become one of my closest friends. And someone who I turn to for advice on so many things. She's always there when I need her to offer a voice of reason, and for that I'm continually grateful. You don't have to spend much time with Anna and James to see why they work so well. They balance each other out so well, mainly on speaking words per minute or fulfilling the quota of times per day someone has to roll their eyes at James. In all seriousness, to see them at such a fragile point when James was in rehab from his op and how they were each other's rock was so admirable. They are there for each other through everything without hesitation. The love they have for each other is so special, and I'm so glad that 2 of my favourite people in the world are now married. And they get to spend the rest of their life continuing to make each other so happy. To be able to celebrate their love and their life together is just such a pleasure, and I look forward to now graduating our thoughts on why our boyfriends like each other more than us to why our husbands like each other more than us. I told you I was funny. And now, if everyone could join me in raising a glass to the new Mr. and Mrs. McSorley. May your marriage be full of love, health, I'm looking at you, James, and happiness. To the new Mr. and Mrs.
Francis just says she's going to just turn it.
Yeah, your pockets for everything.
So if you get your sit on and then you come out, I'll help you with your tie and stuff.
The lint roll is there if you need it.
We're sitting watching the football. So Steve looked up. His eyes are watching the football. Watch this guy, Marty's a Spurs fan. As he went past me, I was really sure he said, and they say, I have a disability. What do you say to that? There's just no...
That's the way to make an impression, you know. I don't know, to make or break the moment, really, isn't it?
Very good. They've been together since school then?
From they were 15.
Wow.
They were, I think they were friends from first form, from they were about 11, and then they got together when they were sort of 15, 16.
Yeah. Oh, that's...
They were serious, they were serious when they were 16, they were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Only friends in?
Yeah. Boyfriend and girlfriend when they were 16.
So he was a smart ass from an early age.
Sure was. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's the only one, because they were so young and really had any other boyfriends really before him, but any of the boys that would have wanted to come to the house would not come to the house, would come to the bottom of the driveway and ask for their dad in. But with James, him and James hit it off immediately. It was never ever an issue.
Yeah.
It was always,
Wow.
yeah. He's a really good
Yeah.
guy. And he's really good to her. And that's all.
Yeah.
He just looks after her.
Yeah.
And she looks after him, but if you ask James about something, he'll say, well, sort of, what is Alan?
Yeah.
He always sort of puts her first and she puts him first, and I think that's probably the, I don't know, behind the important part. Yeah, and that's why like, people that have really successful marriages, that's what they do.
Yeah.
That's
So the person's helping us.
And that's what they really care about more so than their own.
Yeah.
So, my best bud.
It's crazy, like, yeah. We still see her, like, we still, it's just our little baby.
Yeah.
We still see her as our baby.
I'm
It's
sure.
just crazy she's getting married.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start him off. It's emotional. It's very emotional.
And is Anna single child or she brothers and sisters?
She's two younger brothers.
Two younger brothers, okay.
But she's the only, yeah, she's the only girl. Martin's mum was Anna. So
Oh, there you go.
she's named after her.
Yeah.
Named after her grannies.
Very good.
But she's okay, she's only girl and she's a light of his life, isn't she?
That's so cute. He signed it, James brackets your husband.
Oh, just in case you weren't sure.
Yeah, which James?
Just in case you forgot.
It was funny because we were joking in there this morning. I was talking with the girls, and I was saying to them, you know, the boys said like, I wonder would Dad be so emotional if we were leaving? And I was like, no, he would probably be, boys, I'm sorry to see you go.
I see you later. Yeah. It's funny, that, isn't it?
Daddies and their daughters. I'm like that with my dad. He'll be there today. I was like that on my wedding day with my dad because I was the first one to get married. I was the eldest, so I think my daddy was emotional too, wasn't he? It'll be emotional with her. She's the eldest granddaughter. So
Okay, so the first kid. Yeah.
My dad just, he just adores
Yeah.
her. Like, he just loves her. Honestly, like it's not an exaggeration. If I said, and Marty will tell you, if I said to my dad anything about Anna, my dad lights up, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You know, whenever they moved to Spain,
Yeah.
he just wanted to know what they were doing and where they were, and whenever she was home, and like he's not very tech savvy or anything with Daddy, but with Anna, like he got a smartphone because he wanted to see what James was doing, and he wanted to keep in touch with her, and he just adores her, doesn't he?
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have a moment of your time as I have a very important role to perform? To those of you who don't know me, I'm Anna's dad, Marty. Alright, cool, I'm going already.
I'll get tissues if you need.
And as of today, James's father-in-law. As the father of the bride, it is my duty and privilege to give the first speech and basically the warm-up act for Gabby and Michael. And as a note to my father-in-law, Pat, I hope this speech will be like a miniskirt. Long enough to cover the essentials, short enough to keep it interesting. Thank you all for making such an effort today. The bridesmaids look beautiful. In fact, all the ladies look stunning. And to be fair, the men have scrubbed up not bad at all. Thank you for joining us today and celebrating this special occasion in very difficult circumstances. It has been such an awful time, what with COVID, and I know some of you have travelled a great distance to be here. So thank you and a welcome to one and all. I want you all to know how much we appreciate you taking the time to be here to celebrate with us on this special day. And also, at this time, and on a sadder note, it is important to remember those family and friends no longer with us who could not be here to celebrate Anna and James' wedding. I'm sure James' mother Anne, Anna's granny Anne, and James' granny Peggy, and Granda's Michael and Tom would have loved to have been here. They are all in our thoughts, and we really wish...
It's not just you.
Where was it? They could have been here today. So before I get to the main toast, can I ask that you raise a glass to absent friends and family and to those gone but not forgotten?
Empty glasses, sorry.
Listen,
Do you want me to?
you could have poured. That's my fault.
Sorry.
It is wonderful to be able to celebrate with friends and loved ones. Laura and I are so excited for Anna and James as they embark on this adventure called life together. What can I say about Anna? You look so beautiful today, and it was one of the proudest moments. Put it away. I can't help it. It was one of the proudest moments of my life walking you up the aisle. From the first moment I held you as a tiny baby, I was wrapped around your little finger. And even though I thought you looked like Larry Holmes, to me you were the most beautiful baby ever born. And you've grown into a beautiful, kind, compassionate, and very intelligent woman. Your mum and I are so proud. I could talk about Anna all day and her love of music, from singing Bob Marley's Buffalo Soldier, or as it is forever known in our house, Buffalo Soldier. At 15 months, to guitar lessons, City Beats Young Star Search, what can still be found on YouTube, as we found out the other day, and even flying to Spain to surprise her auntie by singing as she walked down the aisle, to her meticulous detail in organising playlists, as Saul can testify. There was no one more devoted than Anna, as she proved with her hard work at school and then university, coming out with a degree in law and Spanish with first-class honours, to defending her younger brothers and cousins on the main streets and playgrounds of the Lower Ormo. And her devotion to James could not be better summed up by the fact that she actually chose to live in Batley, just to be with him. As I say, me and your mummy were talking. Hold on. You're in here. There's tissues in here somewhere. This last couple of months, while James was away at the Paralympics, and it's just been brilliant for us just to have you back in the house and enjoying the whole family together again. I was going to say more, but I can't. So I'll stop there and see if I can get through this. Not that many pages still to go. This is an important day for my wife Laura and I when we welcome James McSorley officially into our family. Although to be fair, we feel like he has been part of the family for over 10 years. And a testament to the man that he is, that he officially asked me for Anna's hand in marriage. And I was never happier to say yes. Now, if I could only get in the other two to move out and have the TV to myself, I would remain a very happy man. I know James is a good man who has already impressed us with his thoughtfulness and unshakable love for our daughter. What more could a parent want than that for their child? I have more praise here for James, about a page and a half, but sorry mate, couldn't read your handwriting.
She's just the way she's just the best girl, and she just went on and moved to England, and she didn't really know anyone anymore. And Gabby stepped, Gabby was just there. So
Very good.
She's blessed. She's got really good sisters.
Yeah.
Seriously though, James, you're a gentleman and an absolute credit to your family. To you both, it is worth bearing in mind that neither of you will be perfect, but you can be a perfect match for each other. A successful marriage is not about finding a person you can live with, but finding someone you can't live without. Now, in spite of being married 25 years, I'm no expert on marriage, but I would like to share one bit of advice with you. If you have a fallout, don't go to bed angry with each other. Just stay up and fight all night, like me and Laura. Like all of us here, both of you no doubt will face some challenges along the way. But if you both pull together and are always kind to each other, you can get through anything and enjoy many joyful times together. Our only advice to you both is to always put the other one first and talk about everything openly and honestly. A marriage should be a partnership. If you both do that, you will always be happy and have someone you can rely on. Once you have each other, don't forget, you'll always have the support of your friends and family. You don't get rid of us that easy. So with those few words, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask you to raise a glass and join me in a toast to our two VIPs, my daughter Anna and son-in-law James, the bride and groom. Oh, is there nothing stronger than that there?
Wine glass full like you.
Don't.
She told me don't, and I couldn't.
You got tissue for her?
I was gonna say.
They're balsam, so be careful.
Oh God.
She hasn't got any tissue.
I knew it wasn't. I knew I couldn't.
I knew you would do this.
I don't want to do any more damage than I've already done. You look amazing.
Thank
You look amazing.
Were you shocked when you came in here?
Yeah, especially. I think I would have been shocked anyway, no matter what it would have been.
It's just a
but-
wedding dress, isn't it?
But no, it's unbelievable.
It's like pulling your hair out of it, doesn't it?
Oh God. But he's
You
got
don't
the
need a
bags.
bag, don't worry.
I don't need anything. If you got everything.
Ah.
I'm good on order.
Yeah, no, like it's just there, it's fine. Just keep fixing it all day.
You think they could have waited too far?
When we're in the speech, I try to think back to the first time I met James, and I actually met James long before I met Mark or Anna, but it was only when I met Mark that I realised how big of a part of my life he was about to become. Having James as essentially the third party in my marriage, well, I think I'm probably the third party. But this has allowed me to get to know him so much more. When him and Anna were staying with us, we bonded over trying to perfect a focaccia recipe, which him and Mark both ate the second me and Anna left them alone. But I found it in myself to forgive James for the focaccia incident, and I'm glad I did. I didn't realise how close we'd gotten until James actually followed through on his vow to make my wedding go ahead at all costs by stepping up to be my stand-in flower girl at the last minute. He hasn't had to fulfill numerous roles today, but I think it says a lot about who he is and why I couldn't wish for anyone better for Anna. Oh, God. That said, myself and James haven't always seen eye to eye, and quite frankly, I was worried whose side Anna was going to take when James unapologetically stated more than once that he thought I was the least funny out of our friendship group. Joke was on him because he didn't know that I was going to be making a speech at his wedding, and one that at least all his family and friends would feel at least a little bit compelled to chuckle at out of courtesy.
Look at these, man. That's so cool. There's a Doom album on there somewhere, so yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and celebrating James and James and Anna's, sorry. James and Anna's birthday. So I've always used to say James and Emer, sorry, so apologies for that. And I welcome all the Caskies into the McSorley fold. It's been a delight to meet them over the last couple of years, and I'm sure we'll meet up again on many other occasions. And I have to say, Anna's looking absolutely smashing today. And James, You may have come back from Tokyo with the bronze, but today you've got the gold. Now, what do I say about Anna? Anna is a total marvellous girl. When I first met her, she was a wee slip of a schoolgirl about 10 years ago. She was so shy. I think we probably had a conversation that lasted about 10 seconds. But I've got to know her really, really well. And I just think she's a total star. James couldn't have met anybody better. And I could go on and on and on about all your best qualities, etc. And I know your dad has done that already. But I want to sum it up in one sentence. When James is away from home and he's with Anna, I never ever worry about James. Because James is always looked after by Anna. And I also want to say that she's just been fantastic over the twists and turns that James has had. And she's also the one that keeps me informed, because James may be very good at basketball, but he's not very good at communicating with his dad. So if I could just find somebody like Anna for Emer, I'd be virtually worry-free, other than just have to worry about West Ham United. Anyway, and I'm sure that if James's mum was here today, she would be so delighted that James had met Anna. So there we go. Now, what do I say about you, James? Or Jamesy? Jamesy boy.
Let's go.
Right, okay. Well, James obviously has been at the Paralympics, which is a massive achievement for him and for all the people who coached him over the years. And I was thinking back about James over the last couple of days, and I thought that word massive seems to follow James around. James was born in 1995 in the Royal Maternity Hospital, and I was brought over to see him just after he was born. And I remember looking at him and I thought, well, I've seen a lot of babies in my time as a doctor, and I have never seen a baby with a bigger pair than that. And well, of course, that was his hands. And his arms. His big hands and big arms. And little did I realise that he would use those to catch Anna and also to go to Tokyo to the Paralympics. But obviously, as we all know, James is a bit of a basketball star, playing with GB. And a lot of people would say to me, people have recognised him, and patients would come in to me, must take after you, Dad, you must have been good at basketball. And I was absolutely rubbish at it. And actually all the McSorleys are rubbish at sport. We all like it, but we're just not good at it. But actually, they get it from the Flanagan side of things. Because James's mum was a really good swimmer. She was Ulster champ. So this is where the skill comes from. It doesn't come from the McSorleys. But I suppose, James, looking at things, your biggest massive quality is actually your heart. You have the biggest heart that I know. You will always listen to people. You will always take their side. You will always give them good advice. You will always look after them. And I think that that's your best quality. In 1979, one of my favourite bands, do you remember this, Marty? Was the Boomtown Rats. And they had a song called I Don't Like Mondays, which was a big hit. But I think James and Anna could change that to I Do Like Mondays. Because they're now married and they're going to have lots of Mondays together. And every Monday that comes up will remind them of this wonderful day. Thank you very much. You? Oh, I meant to raise. We're going to raise it. Bride and groom. Sorry.
Welcome to Belfast Castle and to this very important and special occasion for James and Anna. James and Anna have asked family and friends to be here today to take part in the ceremony.
Who started first? Dave, you started around the corner. You look amazing. Oh my god. Prepared.
You, James, and you, Anna, are now about to marry each other in accordance with the law, in my presence and in the presence of these witnesses.
You take my one.
I like this one. This one looks nicer. Okay.
I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as a symbol of my love
as a symbol of my love
and of our marriage today.
and of our marriage today.
And Anna, if you want to place the ring on James's finger, and again repeat after me. I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as a symbol of my love
as a symbol of my love
and of our marriage today.
and of our marriage today. Did it?
Last time you write that.
You did it? Mm-hmm.
James, here. As a token of the contract into which you've entered, these rings are given and received. By virtue of the covenants made in my presence as a Deputy Registrar of Marriages before these witnesses, I declare that you, James, and you, Anna, are now joined together in matrimony in accordance with the law. James, you may kiss the bride.
Do I not run over anything?
It's okay, I'll stand up, I'll stand up.
To Mr. and Mrs. McSorley.
The question is asked, is there anything more beautiful in life than a young couple clasping hands and pure hearts in the path of marriage? Can there be anything more beautiful than young love? And the answer is given, yes, there is a more beautiful thing. It is the spectacle of an old man and an old woman finishing their journey together on that path. Their hands are gnarled, but still clasped. Their faces are seamed, but still radiant. Their hearts are physically bowed and tired, but still strong with love and devotion. Yes, there is a more beautiful thing than young love, old love.
For the rest of my life. Yeah, what's next? Yeah, I just want to, one of the privileges of having such a small wedding and also having everyone being completely obligated to listen to me because I'm going to talk forever is the fact that I can see everyone and I can look at everyone, I can chat to everyone. So I just want to say... That's so funny. Turned down. Start this way. Just everyone for being here. Noel, you've been my best friend since we were 4 years old because neither of us had any mates and our mums put us together. My mum went up to his mum. My mum went to his mum and went, "Is that your son? Does he have no friends either?" All right. No word about that. That's what it is, and we're still there. Like still there. Saul and Adam, you've made me feel like one of the family since day one, and especially these last couple of days, it's been an absolute pleasure to share with you guys and sort of just get a little bit closer in anticipation of taking this next step and actually being part of the family. Mark, we're too close for this. Mostly just thanks for just putting up with my absolute most neurotic thoughts at all times, like getting me through all the mad stuff and just putting up with absolutely everything I've ever had to throw with you. I'll do you last. Gabby, Orla, thank you so much for everything you do for Anna. Like, I know you guys are absolutely brilliant friends for Anna, and obviously me as well. I love the both of you as well, but I just really appreciate what you do for Anna. Emer, best big sister I could ever ask for. Absolutely amazing. I'm gonna go this way, and then I've got grandparents too. Dad, just want to thank you for everything you've done to get me here the last 26 years. I'd say there's a good 12 years of just keeping me alive before I was like an actual person, but no, I can't thank you enough for what you've done to get me and Anna here today, and it really means the world to me. Helen, teaching me enough that Anna wouldn't kill me when we first move out. It was very appreciated. I can hang towels with the best of them, but no. Yeah, I was going to say, you've taught me how to hoover when I'm nervous. No, thank you for everything you've done for me and Anna. Laura, Marty, once again, like I've said it before and I'll say it again, I've felt like family since day one, and it really means absolutely the world to me that it's actually real. Like it's official. It's always been real, but it's official now. It's just like, it means the world to me to actually have had this day and to come together as a family. The grandparents and Debbie, I still think you're just here because the first time we ever met, you went, "Oh, I'm good with wheelchairs, that'll be fine." So yeah, you're here to make sure you pick me up if I have a fall later when I've had too many pints.
I don't want to miss.
But yeah, get an OT in before, no. But no, the effort you guys have made to be here is absolutely amazing. Like, just the love and support you guys have shown all of us over the years has absolutely blown me away. I think I'd be remiss to not mention the people who couldn't be here with us today. I know my granny and granddad, I call them McSorley. I know you met my granny and she loved you to pieces and you loved her to pieces. I know Grandpa would have loved you too. I know Grandpa Flanagan would have been absolutely, he would have loved it being here today, but he would have spent most of his time walking around the garden out there. We'd have had to rein him in. We'd had to go find him. Obviously, I think Anne liked me because she kind of, last summer she spent enough time trying to tell me in between trying to take digs at other people. So I think she let me know enough that she was a fan of me. But I know for a fact my mum would have absolutely adored you, and wherever she is, whatever anyone believes in, I think she's looking down. She's very, very proud of who I've ended up marrying.
For anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Mark. I like to think of myself as James's first love, but I just want to say before I get started, it's a very real honour and privilege to be here as one of the few non-family members and the couple of people who've travelled in, so thank you for having me, you guys. So, it's been about a year and a half since James asked me to be his best man. I think Anna popped the question, so to speak, to Gabby at the same time. I think it was a much more emotional affair upstairs. James asked me, and being guys, both of us kind of grunted, thumped each other in the chest, and went back to watching basketball because neither of us knew what to say. So, but yeah, it's kind of thinking back to that now that's fed me a lot of what I'm going to be talking about just here, because the question of will you be my best man had something of a follow-up question of will you be my best man who also has a room going spare in their house for an indefinite period of time. So yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot. James and Anna lived with myself and Gabby for about 2 months at the start of last year. After James had been rehabbing his surgery, and there was never a moment where we weren't pleased to have them because they're two of our best friends in the world, but I remember thinking to myself at the time how difficult it must have been for them. Obviously, newly engaged couples should be jetting back off to Gran Canaria to carry on their lives. Takes a slight dampener when you begin your newly engaged life in your friend's spare room in Sheffield while the groom's in rehab. But I said rehab from the surgery already. I should have double clarified that. It sounds a lot worse than it is. And yeah, as that was happening, I remember thinking about the situation that the two of them were in would have really been tough for most couples, but you never see a crack with these guys. And tearing up, Manic. And you see it in James and Anna being together every day and the joy that they have in the very little things that they do together, and it carries them through even the toughest of times, as I think James alluded to a second ago. And yeah, I've spent a long time tinkering with the speech to try and explain kind of what I noticed among them, and I honestly can't do any better than you just see it, because I don't quite know what it is, but it's very much there. You see it in the way that James, even in his kind of post-injury state where he was meant to be limited, was making the effort to get up and make Anna's breakfast before she was up and about. And I think you especially see it when James has railroaded another conversation and is off on a tangent, off a tangent, off a tangent, and Anna still finds it in herself to catch somebody's eye and crack a smile. It's inspiring stuff to be around. Okay. So it was during this time that I got to know Anna a little bit better. I think we'd hung out a lot as kind of part of the group. We've never been as close as me and James have, probably much to your relief. But we'd never spent a huge amount of time together, I think partly because I'd been made aware of more than one occasion where Anna had called me James's boyfriend, and I think she saw me as something of a threat. So, but you get to know Anna, and the thing that kind of strikes you is, outside of what a wonderful person she is in more ways than I could list off, and I wouldn't be able to do justice to Marty and James and Michael and Gabby, you see the way that someone as accomplished and as hardworking as Anna has been willing to make it work so James can chase his dream. And it's the level of dedication there is something that you don't often find in one person, and let alone two people having that level of dedication to each other. So I think James has been very successful in chasing his dream, but I think he'd be the first person to say that Anna deserves probably every single bit of the bronze medal and the various other accolades that he's brought home over the years. So that kind of brings me back to what I was talking about, and it's the joy that these guys have in being together every single day and in all the tiny things. And it's kind of the reason why that, having known James for 10 plus years and Anna for probably as long at this point, so many of my favorite memories come back to that 2-month span of living with these guys, and what an infusion of energy it is into the house, even in such a tough time for them. And outside of that, it was just a great time to take a moment to see how much James has grown as a person, because one of our previous stints as roommates had seen me scraping him off the floor of a Zaragoza hotel room and hosing him down in the shower. But look, fortunately for all of us, that kind of stuff doesn't fly once you've popped the question. And I'm really glad that's the case, because the James from the Zaragoza hotel room wouldn't have made anything like as good of a husband as I'm sure he will now. And I kind of realized as I was writing this that as long as I knew you pre-Anna, I can't imagine either of you without each other at this point. And yeah, I think the best way to sum it up is I've always thought of James as one of the few people on this earth that if push came to shove, I'd take a bullet for. And I think they've become inseparable enough that I would put Anna in that same category at this point. Or at the very least, I would put Anna in the category of people I had to think really, really hard about before I threw them in front of a bullet to save James. So, in all seriousness, you guys, and this on a personal note, I hope you guys know what an inspiration you've been to me over the years, and I think that's probably true for, I hope, everybody in here, otherwise they shouldn't have been invited. But, so, yeah, just to conclude, I'd like to say James, congratulations. I absolutely mean it when I say I couldn't be happier for you. And Anna, I absolutely mean it when I say he's your problem now.
You mean crushing it? And there's literally a point in the middle. Just a massive thank you to everyone who made this possible, but especially Anna. Like, what you've done in general, putting up with me for 10 years has been unbelievable, but specifically these last couple of months, it's just like, it's blown me away. The fact you've put this together yourself, and everything's been absolutely perfect. So I just want to say, like, that's blown me away. Like, thank you for doing all of this, obviously, just very practically. Also, thank you for agreeing to do this bit. That means a lot more, but yeah. So the first time me and my ex-girlfriend, ex-fiance, current wife, Anna, had a date, I didn't really know it was a date, because it kind of wasn't. We were just kind of mates. The whole thing was, Anna used to go up to Orla's house, and she'd be like, I go past your house every time. And I was like, come on in, have a cup of tea, it'll be grand. So one time you were like, how's about that cup of tea then? So came over to the house, just as mates. I had no idea that any of this would happen, obviously, but you had to tell me that you had to tell me. You had to tell me first that you had feelings for me, and I'm very, very glad you do, because you're way too good for me. Like all of this, like 10 years later, none of this happens if you didn't actually have the balls to take me by the hand and go, James, yeah, this could be something. And you were right. So, but yeah, I knew it was the start of something really, really special, but I had no idea that it would take us through school, uni, Batley, Barnsley, Gran Canaria, hospital, trains, planes, automobiles, or I definitely didn't think it would take us down the aisle. So it's obviously it was mad that was the start of something special, just sitting on the sofa watching Family Guy and making fun of each other, probably. But yeah, but that was the thing. I think that's one of the special things about this. Like, our relationship as friends kind of existed before then. We kind of bonded over music, comedy, TV, movies. And I think friendship's what's carried us through ever since. I think this is the part where I was going to start telling the story of my first experience at the Caskies and the Cosgroves, and it was a story Marty told us earlier about me coming in and just immediately making fun of you for some reason. I didn't think I'd be making fun of my father-in-law, to be fair, so I was just like, I'll just let this one go, I'm uncomfortable, and you can tell that's what I've done ever since. But so I managed to recover from that. So we went friendship, relationship, obviously school, uni, all of that stuff, but last couple of years especially, we've had a really, really turbulent relationship. We've spent a load of time on airplanes. I'm here all week, sorry. I knew that was coming, you can tell by the face. But one thing is, when I ended up in hospital through all of that mad stuff, I knew I'd be fine. The second I knew you were there, I knew I'd be fine. Translating for me, whatever it was, like doing all of that stuff, like, I knew I'd be fine. And I told you this when we got engaged. Everything else I could have been scared of in the whole world just went away. The one thing I didn't want to miss out on, and it's why I proposed to you like the second I got out of hospital, was the one thing that I was really worried about missing out on was this and whatever we have in front of us. And I'm so glad that that's not happening. And yeah, like everything else just went away. That was the only thing that mattered to me, and it's the only thing that matters to me today. And it'll be the only thing that matters to me tomorrow and the next day. But yeah. Sorry, I thought I was going to cry that. I've managed to stave it away. But yeah. So today, what I've kind of figured out today is just the coming together of two families. It's about family in general, and it's been, as Marty said earlier, I've felt like we've been family for years. Like, I know I've been welcomed in by you guys, everyone, for as long as I can remember, and I know everyone on my side of the family absolutely loves you to bits, so I feel like we've been family for years. But I was still quite nervous asking you for Anna's hand in marriage. Or I was for a little bit, until I remembered a little something on your 50th birthday. So I was driving there, because I was going somewhere the next couple of days. Do you remember this? Where was it? One of those, a Gale Club or something, I don't remember, but I was driving, so on the way home, everyone was like asking me for a lift. Someone was asking me, I think David asked me for a lift to the GP, I don't remember. But yeah, just having all these different things. And you came up to me and you said, you should give me a lift. You're going to ask me a question one day and you're going to want me to say yes, aren't you? So I think I'll let you sit in the front seat that night. But yeah, that was just like, I was really, really nervous. And then I remember that and I was like, I'll probably be all right. Like, I feel like I've been in the door for a while. I feel like I'll be okay, but
I call upon these persons here present to witness that I, James, do take you, Anna, to be my lawful wedded wife.
I call upon these persons here present to witness that I, Anna, do take you, James, to be my lawful wedded husband.
And James, will you solemnly promise to always protect Anna with your utmost care, that you will honour and cherish her in sickness and in health, for richer or poorer, and that in all things you will be to her a faithful and loving husband?
I will.
And Anna, will you solemnly promise that you will always protect James with your utmost care, that you will honour and cherish him in sickness and in health, for richer or poorer, and that in all things you will be to him a faithful and loving wife?
I will.
yeah, I'm going to read this bit because I didn't want to bungle this. But
We'll not look at each other.
well, I'm reading anyway. You can look wherever you want. And as I said at the start of this speech, I do genuinely believe that what's carried us through all these years has been friendship, the thing that started it all. You're my best friend, and it's been the greatest honour of my life to share the last 10 years with you. And I count myself as the luckiest man alive to be able to spend the rest of our lives together. You're the most incredible woman I've ever met. You look absolutely beautiful today, and I can't wait to spend the rest of our lives together. So, as I said earlier, I think what today is about, more than anything else, is family, coming together of two families, or people who have basically been family for the last 10 years anyway. So, if you could all join me in raising a glass to family.
Oh.
Oh gosh, tell me it wasn't red. Oh gosh. So, I feel like I'm going to be sick. I'm so nervous. No. So yeah, I believe it is, I'm supposed to say it would be my absolute pleasure to hand over to a man who might ruin my life for the next 10 minutes. So, Anna, do you want to take this back before he starts? No. We'll let Mark go next.
Action? No, we're actually not there yet.
I was doing it twice and everyone reacted was a bit like when you like laugh at a kid doing something and they're like, yeah, yeah.
You're doing an island? Are you going to take over the best half?
You pro bubbler?
All the best, Donna. Take care.
You take care.
Right, should we head down? Hashtag CPD.
Like best of them to wrap in a bunch of bubbles. Yeah.
And then he messaged me later on that day and was like, why did I do this to myself? He is one daughter. I can't do that to him. He's like, no, I just can't.
I know where it is.
Yeah.
So bring your flowers this side.
Seriously, the fire alarm? Can that window, like, if there is...
Can you ring down your reception if you just ask them? Well, even open the door.
If there is an actual fire.
A fire? No, I'm saying the alarm is going off right now. It's not just this room. Hi. Okay. It's a test. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Oh, is it fine? It's a test. It's very warm. It's been in the window.
So are you wanting me to wait?
Maybe, because she might cry.
We'll wait just until you've packed everything up.
I just
You've got your coat on the right.
It might be fine, it might be fine.
Oh god, I'm so sad. I was just like, don't cry, don't cry.
Yeah,
don't
hold
cry.
it together.
We just watched the video, me and Gabby, and we were laughing at when I was like, James is funny. He's like, yeah, I'm funny.
And it was also like half the way in and it had just been James talking for 3 minutes. Like summed you both up perfectly. I knew as soon as you and I came in.
You know what? I can't wait to see James next week. Oh my god!
No, as soon as I see him, I'll be gone.
Today we made a list of people that we wouldn't have done this without, and it really means a lot to I know it means a lot to me, but it means a lot to you that we're both here. Debbie, it's also really nice that you managed to show up and get a free dinner. Thanks for coming. No, I wrote that joke. And I was like, who's getting it? Debbie. No, I'm only joking. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm gonna cry again.
Don't. I've done
Cried
so
before
well.
I cried before you got here.
I've done so well.
Do we need to?
Yeah, he needs to come that way.
Do you want me? I can pass that to you there.
Get the good natural light. I don't mind. Whatever's. Do you want your seat?
Nobody knows where the bubbles are from, so it's a big computer. That's me. So what is it? Oh, them or use it. I'm very good at it.
Would you mind? I'm just told. I'm multi-talented. Look at me. Just not a many talents, you know. You're like, this is why I'm here, guys. You're welcome. Get it on the LinkedIn. It's like absolute pleasure to be invited. I was delighted to be a member. Hashtag bubbles. Hashtag training. Hashtag CPD.
Like this, I'm looking directly at a bunch of bubbles.
Guys, it just goes to show you when you put your mind to it, anything can happen.
Make sure you put the caption focused.
Yes, hashtag
focus. Stop perfection.
Dream big.
You want to employ me. Dream big.
Look like a bubble.
I need to find a job doing bloody first.
It's okay.
You have married a man in a wheelchair. I'm gonna run stuff over it. Like,
lean in.
That's change in tense. What?
Change in tense. Mr. and Mrs. McSorley.
Sorry?
You can say Mr. and Mrs. McSorley.
Oh,
Do not
okay.
make cry.
We had Tokyo Drift, and I was like, if I have this in my pocket with Tokyo Drift, I'm gonna swing it out and just wreck something.
Discuss.
Okay, let's let go.
All of Anna's family. What's going on here?
Okay, cool. Yeah, just come out and then we'll do the girls.
We actually did this for a video we shot yesterday.
Well, yeah, because
they requested the 90s low angle shot.
Class.
I was like, is he gonna fit?
I pushed it on, and I was like, oh, where does it go?
Can you cry?
No.
Okay.
I'm being nice.
You're alright.
She's the champion bubbler.
It's covered for us, I can't do it.
Yeah, this is our 90% of our...
This feels stupid. Massive. We did it. Oh, please do. Oh, you also got a link with it. This is amazing.
Yeah, I saw James had it earlier. I was so impressed.
That's coming from me.
He knows.
No, it might be me. No, do you need to write a prescription? Go for a wee kiss whenever he's on stage.
There's a big massive buses just come in the background.
Yeah, straight away.
Do you want me to move? Do you want me to get my big fat head in the way of it?
Yeah. Why?
Is this the...
Yeah, that's chicken.
Take your time, by the way. Don't be throwing it into like, there's no panic.
Just hungry.
I will eat all of those, by the way. Can I eat all of those, by the way?
Here, do you want the... Yeah. Nice.
Yes.
It's here.
Anyone? No. Am I...
I know.
No, you're good.
No, but I might have...
You're good.
You're good.
Cheap check.
Like that.
Just choke me out.
Towards, you can both kind of look
Put me to
towards
sleep.
each other.
Good night.
And you can hold her hand even, James. Yeah.
Get the wee ring. We're mean mugging. Like the front of playing all business.
There's a bit of grass over
Do you want me to get it out? Oh no, wait, I've got it down further. You can see it, it's a married woman. It's fine.
Yeah, you're like, are you asking Cass?
Oh my god, they've got this on film, me just shoving my hand down your dress.